All right, well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the It's in Queens podcast covering events in the borough, the most diverse county in the world, between October 16th and October 22nd of the year
August.
2018. October. I always make a mistake in my beginning thing. Let's just go with it. Right? It's October. October 16th.
August.
August. I'm going to make the same mistake twice.
Can we go back to May? Can we go back to May for me?
Yes.
I'd like to go back to May if you don't mind.
Let's go back to May. Anyway, we're talking August 16th to August 22nd.
Yes.
As always, I'm Rob Mackay from the Queens Tourism Council, and I'm a registered Democrat ever since I'm 18. To my far left, as always, is Chris Donovan from the Daily News, our co-sponsor.
Another
Chris,
registered
are you
Democrat.
a registered Democrat?
I am.
Jeez.
My senior year high school teacher told us, if you ever want a job in New York, you better register as a Democrat.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually registered at 18 because I felt the Democratic Party.
Of course.
And the question is, why are we talking about that? First time we've ever been involved in politics on this program. Maybe that's because the elephant in the room, or what we got sitting right next to us, is Congressman Joe Crowley, who represents the 12th district. Is that right?
14th.
14th district. See, I'm going with the mistake.
And I didn't even bring it up. I didn't bring it up.
Right. This is the mistake podcast, or the my mistake. The 14th district, which covers Western Queens and a slice of the Bronx.
Yep.
Fourth highest ranking Democrat.
To the end of the year.
To the end of the year. We're really happy to have you on. We know that you're busy. First of all, welcome. Tell us how you're doing and what's going on. And
Chris, Robert, thank you for having me. It's great to be here in the bunker here
Yes, it's
in
the bunker.
northern Woodside. I'm a southern Woodside kid, apparently, so.
Just don't tell the address for security
I will
reasons.
not,
Don't tell
of
the
course
address.
not.
We can't have all
non-defined.
You'd have protesters outside right now if I did anyway.
No, hordes of fans will try to find us, is what
Yes.
really we're worried about.
But, so it's great to be here in the bunker and, to be in my hometown of Woodside, which I love, and just to be around here, to know this exists is kind of cool. It's kind of neat. So.
Well, we are obviously. I think this will be. We are honored to have you on the
Absolutely.
podcast.
Thank you
Yeah. For everything you've done for Queens.
Shall we begin? Well, so I know that you grew up in Queens. Your father too is from Queens.
Yeah, my dad was born in Manhattan, but was raised as an infant up in Maspeth at the top of the hill.
Okay.
And
plateau.
Actually, a little bit east of the plateau, and. Where people get lost, they go down those streets and one turns here and turns there.
Yeah.
He lived by not far from Maspeth Town Hall, which you can easily get lost if you get dropped there.
Yeah, you could get lost there. Yeah.
But it used to be the 112 precinct when I was growing up, and my dad was a police officer. As a kid, he took us in there and scared us straight back then.
Was he in that precinct?
No, he wasn't. Okay. But he was in. At one point, he was in. Legal bureau and central booking as an attorney for the police department. So he would be in a lot of precincts. So he would drag us along every so often. I remember being down One Police Plaza when I was a kid as well. I remember seeing the black typewriters. You know, you think of Batman days.
You grew up in the 70s, of course, when New York City was crime central.
Yeah.
Your dad must have seen a lot back then.
He did. But I think it's also what drove him to want to go to law school, because he said he saw a lot of injustice in the world. And I drove him to St. John's and went on the GI Bill, and was a great, I think, opportunity for him. I'm not an attorney, my brother is, but we learned a lot from that, I think, of my father's experiences as well.
I've noticed in life that a fair amount of police officers end up going to law school.
Sure.
I've seen that a lot.
There is a lot. I think the job itself, those who have the aptitude and they're encouraged to do that, it actually makes a lot of sense in a lot of respects. Yeah. But he went to St. Mary Winfield and Woodside, as I did as well. My mom was born in Ireland, but they moved to Brooklyn, and then they summered in the Rockaways. My grandfather had a bar on 98th Street called Murphy's. That was the family name.
Wow, look at that.
And my mom went to Stella Maris High School.
Yeah,
and
that's where my mom went.
My sister went there too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So I got Rocapoco in the veins as well.
Right.
As they call it.
Wow.
So owned a bar, cop, anything Rockaway,
Right,
Woodside.
right.
That's old. That's Irish America for at least for those of us who grew up in Queens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a lot of sunscreen.
I didn't
Right.
realize
Between Woodside and the Rockaways.
I didn't
Very
realize
true.
your mother was born in Ireland.
Yeah, she was born
first
in Armagh, County Armagh, in actually she was born in a hospital.
One of the first ones.
In Newry, in Newry and County Down. It's on the border of County Down and County Armagh, but South Armagh. And so I have a lot of cousins.
I was about to say, you must have cousins over
on
there.
both sides of the family. My dad's, we were very close to both my mom's cousins and our cousins. We knew them all, and they know us. It was kind of unique in some respects, It's
Anyway.
not that unique. For us, it was very unique.
Right.
We had Irish cousins,
Yeah.
We had Irish-
And
right.
no need to do 23andMe. You probably
That's
got it all
right.
figured out.
I have an idea where I came from.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Exactly. Well, let's go. I this week I actually put the events of this week in a list of the things I wanted to talk about first, the things I wanted to talk
look
about
at
second,
you.
and all that. Yeah. My
Wow.
first question to both of you is, what would you do with 2,000 pounds of clay?
You first, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, I would try to achieve world peace.
You would have tried to
I
achieve
thought,
world
is this a
peace?
beauty pageant question
Okay.
or not?
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we would achieve
2,000 pounds of
peace.
clay.
Yeah. 2,000.
Can you make a
pounds
car?
of clay.
Remember that Adobe car that was a Saturday Night Live
Oh,
skit?
you would make a
make a-
huge
make a
clay
big
car.
car, yeah.
Okay.
I'd make a huge clay boat.
I like
It
It
that.
would float.
It would float. A floating
If I had a clay
boat.
boat, I'd have a pony in my boat. That was a song. No, that's all right. All right.
Well, if you go to Sculpture Center on
Uh-huh.
August 18th from 10 to 2, there will be 2,000 pounds of clay, and all are invited to come and make things from
That's
the clay.
a lot of clay.
They did it I have a picture, which maybe we can put up on the thing of what they did last year, and it's just so all of these people, all these artists making stuff with clay.
Now,
Sculpture
are
Center,
they
by the
gonna
way,
do-
is in your district, obviously,
That's
in
neat.
Long Island City. Don't confuse it with Socrates Sculpture Park. This is Sculpture Center, one word,
Right.
capital C. And Sculpture Center actually began as the Clay Club. It was originally just a place where people played with clay. It was in Manhattan, and then it came. Then they actually took over. I think it was an empty trolley repair station on Purvey Street.
I know what
it
you're
is?
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
And the redesign. Do you remember the name of the woman who did the Vietnam Veteran Memorial in Washington D.C.?
I don't.
She was Chinese last name. She was like 23 or something like that when she did the Vietnam, when she won the RF. Anyway, she redesigned the Sculpture Center.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's got a little sort of famous thing.
You got the
so
best facts,
ever
you
since
know
ever since then,
pretty
so it
good.
actually transferred from being a clay club to showing all kinds of emerging artists, a lot of European artists. But this Saturday
This is
you
open
can
to
go.
the public.
This is open to the public. This
Nice.
Saturday you can go back to the Sculpture Club's roots and play with 2,000 pounds of clay. Don't worry, there are also sculptures there and food and other stuff.
That's
Right.
pretty cool, though, like working with clay. you
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's messy, but it's kind of neat,
Yeah.
making things. Actually, that's
a lost art.
it's great. It's
Yeah.
a lost art.
Yeah.
It's a lost art. Yeah.
My aunt is a potter and a really good one in New
Huh.
Jersey, and she's made a whole career out of it. That's
great.
So
And now it's legal.
no pottery.
Oh, sorry.
So, did you see, by the way, the Astoria?
Smoking the clay. Smoking the clay pots again.
That's right.
Astoria is going to have a restaurant that's going to serve
CBD.
cannabis infused.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know,
It's a
man.
whole new
Well,
world.
New York, up in Rochester, Constellation brand, they actually entered into a contract with a Canadian company on drinkable cannabis. So
Wow.
someone's thinking down
Something's
the road.
up,
Something's
yeah.
happening.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody's smoking something somewhere. but
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I have to say. just like my grandparents said, I've now gotten to that age. Orchids. What do you guys think of when you think of orchids? This is
I think of it's my wife's favorite flower.
your wife's favorite flower? Oh, okay.
I actually think of Nancy Pelosi because she gives you orchids for every special occasion. I have a lot of
She
orchids on
does?
my. Yeah, it's like her. It's her little gift.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder
Hard
why
to
she-
maintain.
No,
I
they're-
wonder why
they're
she does orchids.
Very temperamental.
Better than lilies. I guess lilies is a really bad
Yeah,
flower.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
Do you remember the Congressman Ackerman? Gary
Yeah,
Ackerman?
Gary
Yeah.
wore the
What was it? Was that a carnation?
Carnation.
It was?
Yeah.
He every day he had a carnation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, since she's a San Francisco representative, orchids are huge in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Which is, I just learned this for this.
Oh, okay.
I don't normally know what the biggest flower is in Taiwan, but every year the Queen's Botanical Garden joins with the Taiwanese ambassador here, and they put together a show of orchids, and it's all sculpted and designed orchids, and it's 3 days. It starts this weekend, August 17th to 19th. There's a huge orchid sculpture, and then there are other orchid-inspired artworks by what is called the North American Taiwanese Women's Association of New York. And there are workshops and watercolors and dances. And at the end of the weekend, all of the orchids will be on sale.
Oh, you see.
I kind of like that.
What I do know about orchids,
yeah,
there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them, and they're actually native to New York.
Oh, really?
So I'm sure Queens
okay.
itself has its own.
Oh, really?
I like that.
We should look that up. We should find that out.
Well, I'm gonna have to write that
Maybe
down.
we could get like an orchid watercolor and give it to Nancy Pelosi or something.
I've already done that.
He's way ahead of you.
Okay, yeah, he's way ahead of me.
I know what I'm doing.
Well,
I knew what I was doing.
Right. I'm wondering but I wonder if since San Francisco, if there's a large Taiwanese population.
There's a large
or-
everything. I mean, Nancy and I kid around about, talking about Queens County. I called Queens County the new Ellis Island.
Right.
And she's like, well, Joe Crowley thinks that he represents the most diverse place in the world.
Well,
and she goes,
you're right.
We think San Francisco is. I said,
Well, she's wrong.
The truth be known is, National Geographic says that Queens County is
Yeah.
the most
That's right.
diverse place in the world. So I got to go with them. Man.
And
Yeah,
so does this
I'm on their
podcast.
side. Right,
If
yeah.
let's consider that second.
I say it all the time, so it's true.
All right.
saying it. It's
Now I've got another question. We'll do a lot of questions here.
Sure.
Do you know what the difference is between Mozart's Requiem and Brahms's Requiem?
Watch your mouth. It's disgusting. I would never think of looking.
Well, believe it or not, you can find out. You can listen to both in
Right.
Forest Hills on August 16th, which is Thursday, if you'll
Yep.
correct me.
Our Lady of Mercy.
At Our Lady of Mercy, the Oratory Society of Queens, and the Forest Hills Choir, and another choral society called Scala Sine Nomine, if my Latin is correct, are
I'm
going
sure
to
it
sing
is.
Mozart's Requiem. The next week, same day, August 23rd, they're going to sing Brahms's Requiem.
Wow.
So before I came on the show, I just did a little thing. The Mozart one is written in Latin,
Right.
late 1700s, and the Brahms one is written in German, 1850s more or less, early
Okay.
mid 1850s. But I thought that was kind of
If
interesting.
you're into requiems, you should definitely go.
I don't even know what is there. I mean,
There's a requiem mass, right? I remember
there's
that.
a Requiem Mass,
Right.
so I think it has to do with. I think it dates back to original Latin masses, is what I suspect.
Okay.
Because
That makes sense.
but anyway.
Do you get to rate them like the old Dick Clark? Like
Oh,
I could
maybe you
dance
could
to
do
it's
like
got
a
good beat.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
like
great
a-
requiem.
Yeah, right.
I've seen requiems in my day. That's not a good. That's a great requiem.
Maybe Mozart and Brahms are still like
Yeah, they're still
competitive,
battling.
battling in
Absolutely.
the. All right. On another note, you probably know Haley Geyer.
Yes.
Yeah, Haley Geyer. They actually the Geyer family. They live a block away from me. Haley was 11 years old when she darted out after her dog and got hit by a car. Very tragic, but the parents and the sister turned it into as much of a positive thing as possible. They have a foundation. They were, they went on Oprah because Haley was only 11 years old, but she was raising money for AIDS relief in South Africa. So they went on Oprah, gave Oprah the money and stuff. And they have a foundation and other nonprofit adventures, or I should say entities, that are just basically involved in sort of like carrying on Haley's legacy,
That's
which
beautiful.
was
Yeah.
was she was always out trying to do good things
people.
for the world. She was 11 years old. And this Saturday, and I'm also proud to say that my daughter is part of the Love Haley Foundation Junior Board.
There you go.
So she's actually helping organizing this in the Bliss Plaza, which is again
Yeah,
your
the
district.
43rd, 43rd.
Is that 46th?
46?
Which
sorry.
one is-
46 is Bliss
Bliss Plaza.
Street.
It's the
Yeah,
one.
Bliss
So
Plaza.
that's where the
The
arch
arch?
is.
Is that where the
That's
arch
where the
is?
arch is.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're taking over the Arc, I guess, and they're going to have a big. It's called a Better World Festival.
That's fabulous.
There will be
Yeah.
song and dance. They've got a couple of people that Ted Geyer, who I know, who's the father. He listed some actors and singers who are going to be there, but it means nothing to me. Like,
It might mean something to other people. You have the names.
yeah, I'm sorry I don't have their names, but there are also going to be a whole bunch of nonprofits that are going to be recruiting to
Right.
see if people want to start doing volunteer
Sure.
work, and a lot of people will be singing and dancing. Anyone can come up and sing and dance, and there'll be people like the Chess and Schools Club will be there.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
want to play chess, and that's going to be going on 5 hours.
And that's a fundraiser.
No, it's really it's called the
people
Better
together.
World Festival. It's just getting people together to promote good vibes and
Sure.
letting these nonprofits get their word out to people.
All right, I like it.
I will definitely be there.
Yeah, your daughter's gonna make you.
My dad just was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday he was complaining about the fact that he never gets to see his grandchildren. So my dad will probably be there.
Oh, that's a get.
If that's
That's a get. You should.
that's
They
a
should
get.
put that on
That
the
is
site.
a get.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to food.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. I've got
Now you're
ice
talking my
cream.
language.
I've got ice cream. I've got egg rolls, and I've got honey.
Oh.
I don't know how you guys feel about those three subjects.
So far, you got. I'm
doing all right?
on board on all three. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
checking.
keep my mouth shut.
Well, if you want to hear a lecture on the history of ice cream in the United States, followed by sampling of old-fashioned style made ice cream,
I think there's people going to be
go
just
to the King
waiting
Manor
for that
Museum
thing to be over.
on Sunday.
King Manor. Nice.
Out in,
Free samples, in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Egg roll making. Okay, so again,
There's
they
a-
have a whole bunch of shit. This is in Flushing Town Hall.
Yeah, I was going to say there's different types of egg rolls.
Well,
though.
that's what I'm saying. They're going
Oh.
to teach you, these chefs will teach you how to make Cantonese style, Taiwanese style, and Vietnamese style egg rolls.
Nice.
Wow.
The Vietnamese are much lighter, right? A much thinner wrapper.
I suspect that they're the
that
in
right?
that.
Yeah.
That's what I suspect.
Yeah.
But the Cantonese versus Taiwanese,
Those are going to be close.
Taiwan is the island, Canton is inland. Maybe Taiwanese has more seafood in it.
That's what I would say. That's what I would guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's a pretty big island.
It's a pretty big island, yeah. And the Volker Orth Museum, which is one of our favorites. I don't know why, but we
We
love
always
the
talk
Volker
about
Orth
it.
Museum. It's in Flushing. One of the 7 historic houses in Flushing. It was originally Dutch, right?
Yes.
It was originally Dutch. Now it's a museum, and they have a Victorian garden. And the garden they only use 17th century gardening techniques, so there's no pesticides. But one thing they're really into is beekeeping, and they have a whole set of a whole like section of hives or combs,
Yeah.
and they're having their annual harvest festival on August 22nd.
And that's coming back, by the way. Not
Yeah.
using pesticides. The
beekeeping?
Europeans
Oh,
are banning those household pesticides.
Uh-huh.
It's coming our way, I hope. So.
You think?
Monsanto just lost a lawsuit about pesticides, didn't they?
Oh, because it's killing the bees or something.
The
like that.
Roundup. The Roundup is their
Yeah,
product, and
It's destroying.
it's destroying people. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're going to have different hives featuring different bees,
Nice.
representing different regions.
Sure.
Because you get clover honey. That's a different taste. From
Well, we go to farmers markets in Queens to get Queens honey because my son has allergies, and they say the honey. If it's
right.
local honey, it'll help with the allergies for the kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's
I had
true.
heard that before.
Oh, okay.
I validate that.
Thank you very much. See that? I don't need you, Mackay.
Anyway, Anyway, there'll also be bee-inspired art. They do a lot of stuff with making candles out of beeswax.
That's cool.
And they will be teaching you how to make a bee-friendly garden.
All right.
Now, if I didn't live here, I'd want to have a beehive. And don't you think that'd be fun?
Why can't you do
I'm
it here?
scared of bees.
because
actually.
it would bite the neighbor or the neighbor's
Yeah,
kid or the neighbor's dog.
We'd have killer
and
bees
we'd have,
here.
Right.
We would have a serious problem
Yeah.
on our hands.
I'm actually terrified of bees.
You're terrified of bees.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
know
a big
why.
fan myself.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know why. I mean, the idea that they could sting me, I think that's all I needed to be afraid.
What about snakes?
I have no problem. I don't see them. Bees I see. Snakes I don't see.
Spiders?
I'm cool with spiders. They kill everything else.
I'm not a big fan of any of them.
Republicans?
Let's change the subject. I like Republicans. I have some friends who are Republicans.
There you go. Right.
Okay.
Won't want to be one, but I have friends. I got friends.
So there's something going on at the Museum of the Moving Image, which I wanted to talk about too. This woman named Penny Lane, who normally makes documentaries, she made a horror film out of, ready for this?
Yeah,
First
this is
person YouTube videos.
Right.
She took a whole bunch of YouTube videos and she actually
Spliced
constructed
them together.
a horror story.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That is incredible.
I think that's very creative.
That
Is
is
this the same Penny
creative.
Lane that the song was written?
No,
on?
Right, yeah.
it couldn't be.
That was actually a lane.
Yeah,
Penny
Yeah,
Lane.
that was
right.
actually a lane. So she's going to be at the Museum of the Moving Image to show the video and discuss it on the 18th at 4 p.m. That sounded kind of interesting to me.
That's totally.
That is an
Totally
incredible treasure for Queens County, too.
Oh,
It is,
yeah.
without a doubt.
The foremost museum on the moving image is
Yep.
here in Queens. It's
That's
just
right.
wonderful.
And
And
it's
their
in your
program,
district.
Yeah.
and their programming
Their
is
program
top
is
notch.
It's just out of my district, but I
Oh,
don't
is
tell
it?
anybody that.
Oh,
okay.
is it?
Yeah.
All right.
It's in Carolyn Maloney's, but
Oh, okay.
it's okay. Don't tell anybody.
All
No,
right.
it's
No,
fine.
when I think of Momi, I think Joe
There you
Crowley's
go. Thank
district,
you.
without a doubt.
Thank you.
Our official Queens historian, Jack Eichenbaum, is at it again. Do you know Jack Eichenbaum? He's about, what is he, about 80 years old,
Yeah.
Flushing. According to Borough President Melinda Katz, he's been designated the official Queens historian.
All right, we got to give it to somebody. You know,
Yeah.
you have your poet laureate.
We do have a poet laureate.
You need your historian. So what does he have to say?
So he is one of those guys. He's a historian. So
Can we get named the official Queens podcast? Can we get that?
Oh, we should get him on this podcast.
I got to be on with them. I love history. I love Queens history.
Oh, do you?
He's one of those guys. You press a button, you say, 1961 in Queens, and it'll go blah, 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 blah. So he does a bunch of tours,
walking tours.
This time he's starting in Long Island City and going to Greenpoint. And
that'd be cool.
That's on the 22nd. Yeah, you'll go by you'll go by the waste water plant, wastewater treatment plant. He'll talk about that. He'll talk about all the industrial houses all the industrial warehouses being converted to artist houses.
Right.
Sure. And
Calvary Cemetery. You got to talk about
Calvary
that.
Cemetery. There's apparently there's a nature trail right next to the wastewater improvement plant.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I wouldn't know that. And Jack knows that.
Jack always ends with food, so you're gonna end up on Greenpoint and you get a Polish restaurant. So
you'll
end up with.
That food was grown near the wastewater treatment.
I think that probably. I don't know. Do you think it comes in from Poland? Do you think they? I don't know. Other things quickly. What else would I want to mention? There's an open mic at Astoria Bookstore. If you want to come, yes, on your list. Yeah. They're expecting poets, writers, singers, musicians, actors, and comics. That's kind of fun. Oh, and then the other thing I want to talk about was we talked about this last time, but the event was canceled due to it was one of those really windy days. But there's an autism-friendly program at Queens Farm.
Yeah.
Queens Farm. You've got petting. You can pet all the animals.
Got some wine.
They've got a maze, maze.
Right.
And this is a special program that's geared towards kids on the autistic spectrum, and that's August 22nd. We had talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I think a month ago actually, but they had to postpone it due to it was really windy that day, and you got to keep it low. It's something that they've done. They've actually developed the program with an international nonprofit that works with autism kids, so it's kind of cool.
That is very cool.
So at this juncture. Do you want to tell me what we missed, or shall we?
I only have one thing because originally
we
talked about last week Gone with the Wind that was supposed to play in Astoria Park tonight. Because of the wet weather over the weekend, they had to cancel it. And that's going to be moved to 8/22 as well. So Gone with the Wind, August 22nd, Astoria Park.
Not October 22nd. We'll go back to my mistake at the beginning. Not October 2nd. So tell us more about we like to know tell us some of your favorite restaurants.
Oh, I got a few
in the borough.
Well, everyone knows that I do love one of my great friends here in Queens was Lily Gavin, and she had Daisy's restaurant. So I'm just kind of loyal, when people are good to me, and I want to be good back. But she was just a spectacular person, and I just love going there. Did you? Yeah.
You had your communion?
I had my communion at the Howard Johnson's on Queens Boulevard, which is where next to Alexander's used to be, right? So I thought it was great. I got spaghetti and meatballs at Howard Johnson's. Could we afford that? I was like,
wow.
But I love, I was opining about support the Ischia that would just be around here in Woodside, which I
somewhere near the bunker. But
it was great. Yeah. We can't say where exactly in
relation
to the bunker, but it was somewhere in the air.
It was somewhere in the vicinity.
I love La Pequeña Colombia.
Oh, do you?
On 84th and Roosevelt.
That's a good one.
Skirt steak where they fold it over. And it's like sweet plantains and rice and beans.
There you go. That's the bandeja típica.
Bandeja típica. Yeah.
So I got a few. Man,
if you're not starving, you get the mini típica.
I love also the Argentinian steakhouses.
Sure.
So
La Porteña.
There's a lot. I mean, love the Asian food as well. So there's a mix of things. Lemon Ice King, adore it.
Corona Lemon Ice King. Yeah. I have my favorite over there is now licorice. I've tried them all. They had the peanut butter was good. I tried that. The bubblegum was kind of good, but the little piece of bubblegum didn't do it for me. And now I think licorice. What about you, young man?
I like. I'm a rainbow guy. I'm always
rainbow.
I'll never.
That's a political answer if I ever had it.
I'm cherry. I love cherry. Don't know.
Yeah, you see.
little bits of cherry, maraschino cherry.
That's
in
good.
there,
Actually, that's
But I had the
too.
cannoli one, and it was really good.
Oh, the
Does it
cannoli?
really?
Yeah, it was
Does it
really
actually have
good.
cream in it?
It has cream and like a little obsession. That's
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was good.
I might try that next time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Try that.
Anything else? Anything? What else? What do you love about Queens?
I love everything about it. I love the way, we're growing up in it, just the communities where we would travel. We were kids growing up. You probably had some experience. We didn't say where we were from, like what neighborhood, what parish were you from. Kind of what we said,
style,
Yeah.
But Woodside, especially going to Woodside, and we were on the Maspeth border. All my guys and gals, the people we grew up with, were kind of just that one little area there, and it was kind of a little enclave, that was safe, and at the same time you could experience the world.
Yeah.
I took the 7 train into Manhattan every day during high school. Went to Powell Memorial on the West Side, and I'd say that I got my education at Powell. But I got my real education walking around the streets of Manhattan, riding the subway, back and forth. I could tell you exactly what steps I go up on the 61st Street stop, where I would stand to get on the third to last car with the first door when it would open up at Times Square, right in front of the steps, right upstairs, get the one train uptown to 59th Street or 66th Street. And it was by size. I was never late for school because of the trains. That was remarkable.
It was a big
in the
deal.
1970s. You're talking
I
about?
was never late for school.
A
because of the
beam.
train. Ever. I think it was Koch.
Koch.
But it was a different world, and
Yeah.
just experiencing the entire city. But Queens was different too in a lot of respects.
But it's still always a great place to grow up.
Yeah, I would take the 52 down to Rockaway. My mother was from Rockaway, was mentioned earlier, but we'd do all that, and it was sometimes it's tough because you're in a two-fare zone, we call it the time.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's changed a bit since then in that regard. But it's still a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up in, and I always say that I am the product of Queens County. I really am the product of it. It's like when I'm down in Washington, people know he's the guy from Queens. It's like, and I do that with pride.
Yeah, we're very proud too in this, as you might imagine.
It was funny because it wasn't a source of pride for a while. You know what I mean?
No, well, Archie Bunker didn't do us any favors.
No, they didn't.
Let's
No,
face
absolutely
facts.
not. But in the in the 80s, when I was late 80s, I was working in Manhattan. I'd say I'm from Queens, and people would be like, you know.
Carol O'Connor was from Queens.
I know.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was from Ridgewood.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Went
wasn't
to
from
Newtown
Woodside?
High School.
He did?
Newtown.
His mom was the Democratic district leader in Ridgewood, Queens.
Get out of here.
No.
I didn't know that.
And so for him to play that character, I mean, he knew those characters. He knew it
Yeah.
backwards
Sure.
and forward, which made it so credible. But he himself
He's
was
actually
nothing like the
that
first thing
at
he
all.
portrayed.
He's like.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Well, what a great show it was,
It was
too.
a great show. I mean,
And
I
the
got to admit, I like the show.
opening up people's minds.
Yeah.
And it really did change. And the nature of Queens changed, too, over time.
Oh,
Absolutely.
word, yeah. You know what I remember about my youth that I miss that my daughters don't get is people don't hang out on the stoops. People don't play street games.
No.
And those are like my favorite things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It used to be you would listen to like the baseball game outside. No one had air conditioning.
No.
And you would listen to the baseball game. Everyone would talk, adults, kids.
Yeah.
You would play sports outside, getting exercise. Nowadays, you're inside with air conditioning and.
No, Mr. Munns.
Missing out on something.
Mr. Munns across the street, he held court every summer night.
Yeah.
And we'd all be sitting, and it was nothing, all wholesome, good stuff,
Right.
But we play the games. We play wiffle ball in the front. We go in the backyard in the alley where we had we had blacktop, played roller hockey, played stickball, played played sponge ball. I don't know if you played sponge ball. We had a great time, and again, it goes back to that time. But we did spend a lot of time on the stoop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It was
absolutely.
a lot of fun, and we don't see that. I don't see it as much
No,
as I
it's
used
too
to.
bad.
No.
It's too bad.
I would like that to come back. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Anything else? You got any questions? This is your chance.
No, he's answered everything.
He's answered everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I know
It's great to be
I know
here.
you've got a
You've got
busy
time
day.
for
You've
things.
actually got
Invite
something
me
else
back.
to go to now.
I'll be an average citizen at some point. I'll no longer
You're never gonna
hold
be
this
average.
title, but I will just say it's been a great honor serving the people of the 14th Congressional District here in Queens.
Not the 12th.
And I'm the 12th. And in Queens and Bronx, and just been a great honor, and look forward to working and serving other ways. So,
All right. And
thank
for
you.
those who
Great.
don't, you are stepping down January 1st.
I'm not stepping down. I was
Okay.
voted out. But,
Okay, well.
I was not reelected in the primary. But,
Okay, but-
I look forward to serving in other capacities down the road.
But
You
it's
never know.
January 1st is when.
January 3rd, actually.
Okay.
I'm in
Okay.
office till the 3rd, so I'm going to soak up every opportunity.
yeah.
be a congressman until the 3rd of January, 2019.
Well, we still call you by congressman afterwards, right?
Well, some people will call me other things. I'm sure they already are.
I mean,
they should do what they call us.
Theoretically, I think in theory the title stays with you for life.
Right,
awesome.
right. Okay.
I'm okay with
that. Did you have fun doing it?
Did I have fun? I had
20 years,
the most
right?
incredible blast that you can ever imagine. Yeah, it's been a great. I mean, I couldn't tell you in a minute just how phenomenal it was without incredible sincerity and not having enough time to talk about it.
Sure.
Just so many things I've been a part of historically, the things I've seen, the places I've gone.
For the last 20 years, it hasn't been a straight line. It's been
crazed, but it's been a great ride.
That's fantastic. Really well, congratulations on the run.
All right. Well, it's an honor for us to have you on the show.
Yeah,
this is open.
This is our biggest get ever.
Anytime you
want to
by
far.
I don't know.
I hate to.
I might be able to work on getting you a couple extra gets. We'll figure it out. So.
I hate to insult Sammy from Flushing Town Hall. But
he's going to be we're going to get an email burning on fire.
Right, Jeff Simmons is going to reach out to me.
But seriously, anytime you want to come on the show.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
And again, we know you're busy. You got someplace to go right now.
Well, I appreciate
you can't hang out in the bunker for the rest of the
I'm leaving the bunker, folks.
Thank you.
I'm leaving the bunker. It's secret safe with me.
Everybody, please remember that what we talk about here is just,
even if we get the month wrong,
it's over.
Yeah, we get the month wrong and off the record. Everything is correct on the itsinqueens.com website. All of the dates and everything else is correct on It's in Queens. And follow us, hashtag It's in Queens for all the individual events which will be coming out over the week. All right. Again, thank you to Congressman Joe Crowley.